Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Queerness Diaries. Today, I'm joined by Magda. How are you today, Magda?
Hello, hello. Sorry, I was on mute. So I'm
Yeah,
good. I'm excited where that conversation will lead us.
yeah,
So thank you very much, Connor, for your openness and invitation to talk with me today.
yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. I think your story is so important, and it'd be so important for a lot of people to get the message out there. And, with the Queerness Diaries, getting everyone's diaries and chapters of their life, and especially with your story to where you are today, and, seeing how your journey has been. I think for a lot of people, it will really resonate and it's really important. So thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Where we should start, Connor?
Yes. So I thought we would start today. So we always go back and talk about growing up experiences. Um, so if we talk about, originally, said you grew up in Poland, right? And
Yeah.
said in terms of life there, how it was for you, as in terms of your younger years and up until teenage years in school. So in terms of your life there, how was it in terms of growing up and sort of when you started to have sort of, the feelings and everything. Like for me, when I was about 11, 12, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gay because I liked my PE teacher in school. And I was like, those were the first sort of feelings for me. But prior to that, my mum was like, there was always science with me. And so I'm curious with you, with your childhood, what your experience was like.
So in my case, as you said, I was born in Poland and grew up in a very Catholic family. It's southeast part of Poland. So I
Mm,
would say to give a context to people, it's between Kraków and Rzeszów, and let's say in a corner like Slovakia and Ukraine.
mm,
And to give another context of political situation there,
mm,
it's the region that had like the most, the most like the last party that we had, like peace in Polish language.
yeah,
It was like the biggest amount of fun were living there. So it's
yeah,
what I would say the most conservative part of Poland, and I'm coming from there. So it wasn't easy at all
yeah,
for me. So first of all, I thought about myself as a gay for many years, and but also I struggled a lot because, but it was later. So when we talk about school, I always, felt I always get along better with women, and but
mm,
also I had like really struggled to, had male friends, and I also had experience once time of bullying,
mm,
and I thought like, I'm alone there. I didn't talk with my family, with my mother, because I never had a contact with my father, but I wouldn't say close with my mother, but
mm,
if something happened right now, I think I should and I could talk with her, but I didn't. Yeah, so I have a sister, but we never been close to each other. And
yeah,
I always felt like I was compared to her, like when we talk about results at school and those kind of
mm,
things. And funny fact is, I never pay attention to learn English, and
mm,
like for many years I thought
yeah,
like yeah, I mean, like I never thought I would work and inspire people in English. So I'm proud of it, to be honest.
yeah, that's super awesome. Yeah. And so, yeah, in terms of now, in terms of your family as well, so do you have much? Are you closer with them now, or is it still sort of stayed the same through um, your teenage years? Because yeah, I know with a lot of families there can be pressure for like results and exams as well, and that sort of pressure to perform. And when you're also going through, you know, the internal battle, finding your identity, it can be an added pressure as well, especially, you know, as teenagers when um, we're going through that stage, especially around 14, 15. I used to put as well a lot of pressure on myself to be in school doing super well. And at that time, I didn't know I had ADHD, but my mom and dad would always take me out of school for therapy sessions and trying to get diagnosis. And obviously, people in school started to notice that because I'd go missing every Thursday. And at the time, it was something that I just kind of kept a secret because there were other people in my school that were already out as gay and they'd been bullied horrendously. So I sort of buried everything and sort of stayed completely silent about everything until I went to college. And I'm not sure what your experience was like in terms of leaving school and then going on to college in terms of that sort of era as well, like the sort of
Mm.
transition of leaving school life. And in Poland, is it similar? Like at 16, do you go to a separate college or do you still stay in the same school to 18?
So, in my case, I had like 6 years primary school. Then I
Yeah.
had something what is called gymnasium. I don't know if in English it was 3 years,
Yeah.
and then it was 3 years of high school.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, in my case, I had feeling everything what is worse started when we talk about gymnasium, and I also had like feeling that I would like to lead the class,
Mm,
and I had like remember a friend. I had one male friend, but I always had like feeling we are competitors,
yeah.
and he started to date the girls, and you
Mm,
know I wasn't, I
yeah.
wasn't, I wasn't interested. I never been interested in girls. I was always interested into guys, and yeah, I had different, and there were one person, and I remember that situation like so when I had like let's say sports class, that person was like yeah, had like something it's how to describe in English. So he had like yeah, he had something diagnosed also, and he
Yeah.
had like individual external, and how to say, like, he didn't attend to the class with everything, with
Yeah.
for some classes he had like individual lessons. So I remember once he was in a changing room, and also I've been there, and unfortunately he always, I had a feeling he always were looking for something to start fight about without a reason. And
Mm,
I remember we've been together there, and I had feeling like, yeah, something it will happen. And unfortunately, it happened. He bullied me, and I remember, yeah, I felt so weak, and
yeah.
I thought, that something wrong is with me, and it's stuck on my body for many years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I'm sorry.
yeah, I want to say also aloud that from my heart, as I understand, he did what he could do. And it was probably, the environment where he grew up.
Yeah.
And, I want to say that I really, from my heart, forgive him. and I
Mhm.
wish him all the best, and I hope he's doing well. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't want to have with him contact, but I
Yeah,
want to do it for myself, to be
yeah,
honest, to forgive him and do not think about him badly. But what he did, it wasn't right, and it stuck on
yeah,
my body for many years, and I feel like I still on a way to relive it. So I want to forgive him today. And if listeners had similar
mm,
experiences or familiar, I truly encourage you to forgive everyone who did it something bad to you, because on the end, if
yeah,
you will not relive it, you will be with that. This is what I've learned. This is one thing what I
yeah,
want to share that I've learned, and I know
mm,
it's hard, but I truly believe the state of
mm,
love, it's only the state of and
yeah,
forgiving that will give us a new energy, new people, the right people. So yeah, this is something what
mm,
I want to share with all listeners, with million
yeah.
listeners you will have for sure.
But no, I think that is such an important message to, find that place of being able to forgive. And 'cause even though certain events that we have in our life, we always will carry like bits of the trauma, and they kind of shape us in sort of releasing that sort of, it can be a mixture, of anger, almost grief and sadness of what they did, in terms of like thinking, okay, I have to let this go for my own health and just wish them the best. It gives you like a sort of
Yeah.
freedom and a power back, because you're sort of released from that heaviness and that feeling, that you can feel trapped in at the time. Because I imagine after those initial months afterwards, you've got a sort of place of fear that you go to, and navigating from that place of fear to a place of forgiveness is such I think a really healthy mindset. And yeah, it sometimes it takes a long time. Like for me, I was not specifically bullied heavily in school, but one of my school, he used to do like silly things. So it wasn't like heavy bullying, but he would throw things in the classroom, because I used to be very shy in school. And so one time, for example, I was walking to leave the school, and he threw a football and it hit me in the face. And he'd do things like throw eggs at people. So it wasn't just to me, but someone from our school who was heavily bullied. Um, Unfortunately, she ended up taking her life at 21. And so after that, the bully, he'd heavily targeted her, reached out to me on Facebook. So I hadn't spoken with him ever since leaving school. And he sent a really big, long, heartfelt apology. And I just forgave him in that moment. I already had for myself. But yeah, I think it's so important in the, not just school environment, but afterwards because we face it as well going into different workplaces through college, university, for those people out there that move into a place of forgiveness, as hard as it can be. And it's definitely a process. Sometimes it can take years to really get to that place. Like with certain people, it's took me much longer, but definitely from school, I managed to realize that, you know, it wasn't me or anyone else in particular that he was specifically targeting. He just had whatever he was dealing with. And so, yeah, when he reached out, I sent him a message back. We never spoke after, but I just sent a heartfelt message back wishing him all the best and all the best moving forward with his life too.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
But but yeah, it can be difficult at times. And then I'm wondering, like, after that, as you were going through your teenage years and after high school, how that was for you, because
Mm,
did you have much of a community over there, or was it very sort of
mm,
isolated, everything?
yeah.
Because I know in my town it was very closed off. Everyone, for example, on Grindr, blank profile, hidden pictures, like everyone had the fear, even
Mm,
though in England it's sort of
mm,
expected as being quite an open place. In my town, it never has been. And
mm,
I'm guessing in your area, possibly too, growing up, there was sort of that feeling that, you had to hide in a way, but you wanted to release, and
mm,
you were
mm,
finding your
mm,
identity
mm.
and trying to juggle all these things at the same time, I imagine, right?
So I had to admit that at the last year of high school, I changed a school and nobody understand it.
Yeah,
And it was also hard for me because I had feeling I don't have a support. I mean, I had support in the meaning that my mother gave me a money for it. So I
yeah,
think I should be also, I mean, I should be, it's good to be grateful for that because I
mm,
had, it was private school the last year, but I didn't felt like belonging there and nothing bad happened. I mean, like, yeah, yeah, some two people they didn't treat me well, or
mm,
including one teacher from biology. Yeah, I had feeling like we've been like three people who had like exams from biology, and she always forgot for me the materials like printed, and it was like
mm,
weird for me why it's always
yeah,
happening. Like I'm paying a lot for being a part of that school,
mm,
and she is do not have enough. Like, yeah, it wasn't like, but I never asked her. I would love to ask her like why she did it, but
yeah,
yeah, also I never forgive her, so this is the right moment to forgive her. And yeah, I
mm,
will breathe one for it and inhale, so give me uh
y-
5 seconds for it.
yes,
Yeah, I feel that small thing of breathing and inhale, it's such important because few months ago, I realized that I have a lot of those shit moments in my body and it stacked. And
yeah,
I reached a moment that I couldn't do anything. I had feeling like I couldn't wake up from my from my bed, and
yeah,
physically I felt good, but I was like it was too much on my body and I started to relieve it. So for the people who
mm,
are not relieving it, it could be, I don't know, dancing, it could be massage, it could be everything together, what I said, and other things like psychotherapy. But it's
yeah,
such important because
mm,
our bodies, our mind, it's limited in a, I mean, body, it's limited. It's my opinion, right?
yeah,
Mind, it's not limited, I think, and but it's different story. Yeah. So
yeah,
I was in a bigger city. I changed for a bigger city because I felt I will feel there better. And when we talk about the first going to the first gay club, so I had like
yeah.
a friend during that time. Her name is Kasia, and she supported me. So we've been together to the club, and I remember that we've met like hairdresser
Oh,
who
nice.
who've been a gay, and
Yeah,
those stereotypes like then after like yeah, if
yeah,
someone is hairdresser probably is a gay.
yeah,
And right now I'm conscious more about it, but this time, yeah, but it was very important for me to go and see people who I get along with and who were somehow different than the rest of the world. And yeah, so I've been, it was in Krakow, and Krakow
mm,
also, it was important city for my life journey because I've been
yeah,
living there a few times. And this time I was just, visiting first time gay club, and I felt,
Mm.
yeah, I felt free and I felt good there.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure you probably remember like your first night out in a gay club, like that feeling of it's almost a little bit overwhelming, but the sort of sense of freedom and being like, it's like a new sense that is finally sort of unlocking like parts of yourself. I remember I had a similar experience. I snuck down on the train to London and I went to the club, the Club Heaven. And yeah, I was 18, pretended I was going to a friend's house party in my town, but I snuck down to London to Heaven. And then I don't know why, but on the way back on the train, I'd had an amazing night out, but I just cried because I felt like I could only get glimpses into my real life, which I was trying to get. And but as time went on, um, it was like I craved those. I didn't want it just to be glimpses and then go back to my town and sort of put on this fake facade of trying to appear as, as a straight man with a family that
Mm,
at the time when I came out at 16 and then we didn't talk about it again because they did
mm,
not take it well. And so I was like, I can't go through life just having glimpses because every time I was in Manchester or London or Birmingham and going to these gay clubs, I felt like alive and I was around people that I could be myself and sort of dress how I wanted. And so it definitely, I was like, I have to make a change. I can't just have glimpses and I have to live my life authentically. And for me, it took moving to Spain to do that.
yeah,
Finally to Madrid, but yeah,
yeah,
eventually it was like a big step for me.
yeah. Thank you for sharing, Connor. So I can also talk a bit about my story, and then if you have any questions, I would be happy to
Yeah,
tell
sure.
more. So I mean, so right now, when the people will ask me how are you identify as, so I identify as a woman, but I'm open about my transition, that I transition from male to female. And to be honest, even in our community and like in general, I feel
Mm.
like for the people it's super new that someone is identified in that way. So
Yeah,
often people straight away putting me to the box of being trans, which
yeah,
I'm not feeling comfortable because even yeah, it's a true, and I'm advocating for transgender people, and I'm helping organization to build trans inclusive workplace. But I'm a woman, and my part of the story is to transition from male to female, and that way it wasn't obvious for me. So
mm,
as I told you and listeners, I thought about myself as a gay person, but at some point with my best friend Kasia,
mm, mm,
we put on me a bra, and
yeah,
I remember it was like bra, and
yeah.
into them we put like a socks, socks, yeah, socks, like
I like the tights. Yeah, like the long socks, like the tights.
yeah,
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 few of them to mm, build a shape.
yeah,
And I she did for me makeup because she is makeup artist, so I looked beautiful. And we've
yeah,
put the picture to, I mean, like I open account on let's say hookups right now,
yeah,
hookups app, and it happened magic because I had so many attention, and I really uh, it was something what I was looking for. So
yeah,
fast, I had like the first meetings, and it finished to a period of my life that I used to be a cross dresser for 8 years. So it
yeah,
was a huge part of my life. And I realized that I was putting myself to a many risky situations like drugs, the
mm,
people who were married, people who were not close to themselves. And
yeah,
one of the worst thing what I did, it's that I agreed to have sex often without condoms.
yeah,
So it was also I felt like I didn't feel right now. So if I want to have sex with someone
mm,
right now, I'm not afraid to talk, like let's talk about it, like about our health status, and be responsible. But those time I had assumption, someone has a wife, so he's clean.
yeah,
But I mean, right now I'm more realistic that
mm,
reality looks different. And also I'm living in a Berlin where people, I think statistically, have more partners,
yeah,
because here polyamory, it's a very like it's common.
yeah,
um, but I have feeling like people are more open to talk about it. And if someone want to have sex without condom and I want to have sex with condom, so we're saying, okay, we're not a match, and
mm,
no drama, no
yeah,
excuses. So I wish you all the best, and we are splitting, right? This is the
mm,
mindset that I have right now.
yeah,
But during this time, I was looking for, being accepted. And, a short, long story is, at some point, I've decided to live abroad, and it was London. So also, when you mention heaven, I've been there,
yeah,
across Dresden, and always like Monday. Oh my God, so many straight guys. I need to go on Monday.
yeah,
So I was going there, and I started firstly. So I started to go. So in Poland, when I was a crossdresser, mostly I was meeting guys at my apartment. And also, I would like to say that everything what I've done, it was with
mm,
a shame and a big fear that someone will come back and see me in a different mood. So I was dressing up, I was putting a
yeah,
wig, I was putting a bra, I was putting a makeup. Oh my God, I couldn't do a makeup. I'm still not an expert, but during the time, like, oh my God, lipstick were everywhere. But
yeah, yeah,
so but that time, so this time I also started to go to sex clubs. So I encourage myself to go more publicly, dressed up. And I remember that also I had like different reactions from people. But I started to see that community is there, like transgender women and cross dressers. But I had feeling like I'm better. I look more feminine. I had that kind of mindset because also I had feeling in London there is a club called Way Out, which is dedicated to trans women, but also a big part of people who are coming are cross dressers. And I had feeling, yeah, we are. It's a kind of competition for a guy. And also many people who are coming there, there are working girls like escorts. So I felt like there is a competition. So I didn't really feel belonging there. But I'm very grateful that in my story I found that community that I didn't know how to,
mm,
build relationship with people. But also I feel like some people don't want to build relationship there.
yeah,
But coming back, like few months ago, I've met other amazing trans women who are, yeah. By the way, I've met through We Create, so I'm very grateful to Michael and
yeah,
the community
yeah,
in London, because there I have at least two sisters, Nikki and Andrea.
nice.
So we
That's great.
shared experiences, and we've been together to Way Out, and it was a lot of fun. So
Yeah,
totally different also stage of my life. So it's good to come. I would love to go one day to also to heaven because I change a lot as a person. I have different attitude.
Mm,
But yeah, maybe to finishing before you probably want to ask about something. I feel like that part of London, it was important for me. But yeah, we can talk like how it's changed. But I feel like London and right now Berlin, it was important for me to grow as a person. But
yeah,
both those experiences are somehow harsh because they are big cities, and you know it's good to have a plan for you, because if you don't have plan for yourself, there's
yeah,
always so many things happening. And also you can probably relate because you are
yeah,
living in Barcelona, another big city,
yeah.
which I love and which I will live it at least 3 years. So
Yes, yes. You've got to
stay,
come visit Barcelona soon.
yeah,
Yeah,
be ready for coming later.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. And I think so how long were you in London for in total?
Yeah, I've been there for a year and a half, and it was
Yeah.
one big party during the time.
Yeah. So yeah, I think sort of these moments, they really shape us. And at the time, because we've only had, glimpses into um, ourselves before, when we arrive somewhere that's very open, like for you with London, for me with Madrid, we tend to go all in. And I know when I was 25, I moved to Madrid. I was party animal. I was out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I would work late afternoons and evenings. So sometimes I'd go out even during the weekdays as well, and I'd be constantly on Tinder, on Grindr, on every app you could think of, trying to meet people. And every party I could go to, I would go to. And um, for me, I felt like I had to make up for the lost time before that I'd already lost from, um, I felt like coming out at 16 and then going back into a box until I moved to Madrid at 25. I felt like I had to make up for those 9 years. And in my head, my way was like, I have to do this, have to do that, have to go on this date. And so I became a little bit manic. I guess it was part of my ADHD too. But so my lifestyle did not become the healthiest in the time because I was going to every single party. And of course, it's also that feeling of attention, when you've not had it. Like um, probably for you too, you found like back home. Um, there's that fear like of being outed, and that fear like you can't even put your picture on a profile, and then suddenly you're in a city like London and everything's a lot more open, and you're trying to navigate that whilst also find parts of your identity and unlocking new experiences. And so it can be a lot to juggle, and it sort of shapes us and we learn our lessons from it. But it can be, at the time, you don't always realize, that you're in, it's like a pressure cooker kind of at the time. And so I think definitely um, maybe you can relate. But for my sort of first year or so in Madrid, looking back, it was a great time. I have so many great memories, but I was a mess. I
Hmm.
was like, I had no sense of identity really. Like
Hmm.
I would just try and like meet a gay friend group. And luckily in Barcelona, it's a lot more inclusive for the queer community. In Madrid, what I didn't like is often in the gay clubs, they wouldn't even allow women in. It was like a strict men only policy in a lot of these clubs. And in England, when I'd got the glimpse, because I'd always as well been very close to all my friends growing up have been girls. My two closest friends were my two lesbian friends from my hometown. And so we would always go out together in the UK for our glimpses into, the life we wanted to live. And then in Madrid, it was like strictly only these sort of gay clubs. There was nothing that catered to the other queer spaces. And so for me, like navigating the gay clubs, I found it difficult because I'd always gone out with uh, girls, my two lesbian friends, when I'd been going out in London and Manchester. And so, yeah, it was a strange time. I sort of found my way eventually, but I imagine in London for you, you got a lot of like important lessons, but the juggling aspect, it can be overwhelming at times.
Yeah, I'm in touch with one person. They are makeup artists, so I'm
Yeah,
happy that from the time of being cross-dresser, because I wasn't authentic. I was saying to
yeah,
people that I'm coming from, and listen to it. It's super funny that
yeah,
I mixed Czech Republic and Colombia. And I
yeah,
remember sometimes people were saying, "No, no, no, you're from Poland. Your accent
yeah,
is Polish," and I
yeah,
said, "No, no, no, no way." But it's I think, yeah, it's important to say we need it for to explore it. We need it to be where we are today, and
mm,
also yeah, that time of attention, and still so I can come to the situation where I am right now. I mean, like, I don't want to finish conversation with you, but I feel like, yeah, maybe I will
mm,
talk few words and we can talk few minutes about Berlin. And
yeah,
if you want, I would love to do a different episode about what I'm doing for companies when the right
yeah,
time will
definitely.
come,
Yeah,
because yeah, I feel it could be a lot for listeners in the one episode. So
yeah,
coming back to Berlin, I'm living in Friedrichshain. Friedrichshain, I
mm,
mean, my pronunciation, I don't speak German yet. So it's 800 or 700 meters from Berghain, which is, I think, top wanted to go club, techno club, like
mm,
open-minded club all over the world. People are coming here from states, from other countries, other cities. Well, I'm going to often to have a walk in a park next to Berghain,
yeah,
and it's also hard, but I think it's good for me for sure for my mental health. Also, as we talk like before, like it's not 3 months that I'm here in Berlin, like for living. I've been here 14 times, but I moved like 3 months ago.
yeah,
And I feel I talk about it with my psychotherapist, with mentors that I have, that it's not a mistake, that I
mm,
had only possibilities to live here in Friedrichshain, because it's also very hard to find a place in Berlin. But I
yeah,
feel I'm tested, and it's tested what I want from life. So
yeah,
on the one hand side, I'm in the middle of attention. So here during the weekend, it's going a lot, and I
yeah,
have a question if I want to participate in a parties, because also Berlin is great during the summer. It's like
mm,
a lot of parties in a garden outside,
yeah,
and people are partying a lot. And I don't want to go through that lifestyle, because okay, I've been the last Wednesday at Kit Kat. It's different club,
yeah,
and I finish dancing because I'm not taking anything anymore, like drugs,
mm,
at
yeah,
7:30. And so many people came to me, "Oh my God, what did you take? Because you have so much energy. I love your energy. I love your
yeah,
speed. Give me, share with me." And I'm saying, I just drink 2 glass
yeah,
of wine, and this is me, and because I'm finally
yeah,
myself and I'm enjoying
yeah.
myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
um Sorry,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So that's awesome. That's so great. I think so. Yeah, that you're finding that sort of place as well, like of joy as well in going out. And
Yeah.
It's like,
But one thing what I want to mention, what probably I was naive because I had that feeling I'm moving to Berlin, so everyone here will be open-minded. Oh,
mm,
well, it's not true. I've been to KitKat, and
mm,
recently I had two situations that people didn't treat me in the way that they should. And the situation is I got a
yeah,
nice conversation, and at some point he asked me, "Are you trans?" I didn't reply to the question, and
yeah,
then he said, "So are you a man?"
mm,
This is the one thing, and another person, I don't remember what he did, but also something that I didn't felt comfortable with. So yeah, it's also happening here,
yeah,
and this is maybe a good spoiler to the episode that we could do. This is
yeah,
why I decided to do what I'm doing to help companies to build a trans inclusive workplace. And
yeah,
my main goal is to help trans allies to ask questions based on curiosity, empathy,
yeah,
and from the place of love,
yeah,
because
sure.
I see a lot of people want to ask something, but they don't
Mm,
know how to do it. And the opposite spectrum is the people, they are they are asking questions without being conscious that they can
mm,
hurt to someone. So this is one perspective, and another is people want to ask a question, but they have fear they will hurt someone. So on the
mm,
end, they are not asking any questions,
yeah,
and this is not the place where people have a conversation. And for example, transgender person is on the beginning of the transition,
yeah,
and I'm explaining companies it will not work out because the person is scared too hard, and the person who just started transition is scared of the
mm,
word, or it's shy. I've been there and I understand it.
yeah,
So we need someone who will start that conversation, and this is my goal, to help
yeah,
people who wants to be allied to be more conscious and educate them and help them ask the right questions.
yeah. And I think that's such a important initiative and that you're doing. And I think thank you so much to the community as well for doing that. And I was wondering, so what made you decide that you wanted to start this, and it was like that's something that you wanted to do to really help people as well?
So the question is why I've decided to do what I'm doing for companies, right?
Yeah,
Well, I've been HR leader for 10 years, and I was doing like for 5 years recruiting, and I always love work with different people. And
yeah,
when I started my transition, it was May 2021. I've, uh, in the meantime, I've met my business mentor. Her name is Kasia. She's design thinking facilitator coach, and we've worked 2 years to discover what I'm doing right now.
mm,
And I said, yeah, we together discover it. Let's help, because I know how hard it could be not be yourself. And I'm coming from one of the worst country in Europe when we talk about LGBTQ plus
mm,
rights. And this is according to ILGA report. It's not like I'm
mm,
saying it, it's
yeah,
reality. And we have like super unhuman law when we talk about transition, but it's different story.
yeah,
So it was at some point, yeah, let's help people be themselves, and let's help
yeah,
corporates to build a trans inclusive workplace. And I can say in one sentence, what is it? It's majority time inspiring session, Ask Me Anything, where I'm sharing the story of my transition, where I'm giving concrete tips like inclusive language, pronouns, why that matters.
Yeah.
And then there is a space for questions. So, as I said, I realize people have a lot of questions and often they don't know how to ask the questions. So, this is the safe space where people can ask those questions.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Pride Month and July, because in Germany we have like Pride Month and it's called Pride. It's in German. Christopher's 3 days is
Ah,
in
yeah.
UK. So just right now it's May, but I'm going soon to Vienna, and then it's Pride
Yeah.
Month, and then it's here Christopher's 3 days. So it seems like from now till the end of July, because Christopher Street Day in Berlin, it's 27th of July. It will be super busy. So if
Yeah.
you and listeners never been, you should come. And also,
Yeah,
I will be
definitely.
the first time there, so I'm super excited. And
Ah,
also,
nice.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it'd
still
be a
looking
lot of
forward
fun.
to find outfits. Or yeah,
Yeah, you got to plan all the outfits and everything for all of it. And summer, I only went once to the Pride there in 2019. I
yeah,
remember it was very hot. It was hotter than Madrid, ironically. And
yeah,
yeah, I had a really great experience there. And the aspect of, I don't, what's the big park called in Berlin? I always forget that big park, the name. I can't remember what
yeah.
it's called, but you know what I mean. That park, like everything was really open with a lot
Mm.
of festivities on, and yeah, so it looks like it'd be a busy summer for you, which is exciting. And it's sort of, I guess, living in Berlin now. Do you go home often much, or have you sort of closed that chapter and you don't feel like the
Yeah.
necessity now? Because for me, I go maybe I'm close with my mom and sister now, and so I definitely go home a lot more. Um, but I definitely realized the first year or two in Madrid, whilst my dad was still in the picture, I did not want to go home. And then as soon as he was gone, we became really close. And so I was wondering for you, um, so with Berlin sort of being like a middle ground between, London and your hometown, do you still feel like a connection to home, or you feel like that
Mm,
chapter is sort
mm,
of closed now and that you kind of want to stay in Berlin for your own
mm,
safe
mm,
space
mm,
moving
mm,
forward?
mm. So, I feel, yeah, the time of living in Poland, it's over. Like, to give a context, since like 2 years, I was 40% in Poland, 60% traveling to, yeah, different locations. Yeah, majority of them are in Europe. So I do not feel that I want to come back to Poland. I'm in touch with my mother, and even after that recording, I will have with her a conversation, but
Mm,
we are not super close. So always she will ask about, how is my work,
yeah,
if I have enough money, and those kind of questions that
yeah,
are quite, yeah, I mean, like, I want to talk with her, like how she's feeling, and those kind of questions. But it is how it is. It's still like nice that she's supporting me and she is trying her the
yeah,
best. No, I'm not close, but I've been there 2 times because I had my the last surgery in Poland.
yeah,
So I want to finally live my life right now, and
yeah. That's so awesome.
uh, yeah, just have the life that I always that it was a long path to be here where I am. So also maybe I want to have 5 seconds right now to feel
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, to
Be
breathe. Yeah.
grateful and
Yeah.
also grateful that you invited me to share my experience. So, yeah, it's been a pleasure to talk with you, Connor.
Yeah, it's been so nice to have you on and to hear your story. And I think it's such an inspiring story. And the message that you're getting out there, is really going to help a lot of people. And these are the conversations, uh, that we need to be having in the community. And sort of that fear and everything, I think with a lot of people is sort of, as time goes on, it's sort of, so, some people still have it, but I notice with a lot of people that that sort of fear is going and the conversations are happening. And so it's really nice to see, from apps like in Meetup to a lot of groups in LinkedIn, that there's a lot of these spaces now opening up and people are connecting through these ways.
Yeah,
And so it's like, as time goes on, I hope it continues with this progression, because it's like from all over the world, we're now able to connect with a community where, 10 years ago, we kind of felt maybe a bit in sort of a bubble and it was hard to get out of the bubble. And now we can connect with
yeah,
people from all over. And so I
yeah,
think what you're doing is such a amazing thing as well, and incredibly courageous. And your story, has been, I know you've had the ups and downs along the way, but you've come out of it feeling like a sense of, self, where you can be, so open and, like you said, so happy and dance and just really embrace life in Berlin now,
yeah.
which is great.
Yeah. So maybe the last thing and the last word from myself, I would be very happy to share the link to my TED talk. I was
Yes.
TEDx speaker and I shared the story there, and also the link to the Better Society, Better Society Academy through the Social Hub,
Yeah.
because as we talked, like the last Tuesday, I
Mm.
will be in Vienna with
Yeah.
other change makers, and I
Mm.
feel like yeah, we are close to the change, but also we need to remember that unfortunately, you're from the UK, so you know the situation that unfortunately for trans individuals, it's, I would say, I'm not living there, but the situation
Mm.
that I'm hearing, it's unfortunately getting worse for trans rights. So
Yeah.
all we need, still fight, and we need still be together in that change. We need to support each other. And a Better Society Academy that I will
Mm.
be take part in Vienna, it's about thinking how might we as a collective and together support
Mm.
each other,
Yeah.
and raise voices, amplify voices. And maybe for the people who are just started discovering who they are, I would say, like, give yourself a time, and you are not alone. And remember it, like, you are not alone. Even people that you will contact, and encourage you to contact everyone that you could, because people really are willing to help. And
Yeah.
even if 10 people will not reply to your message, 11th person will help you. So also go to the events, as I mentioned, like we create space and talk about yourself, and you
Yeah.
will feel the relief, because it's nothing wrong with you, and you're a part of bigger picture of a community, and we are here to help you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's so important. And yeah, thank you so much for that. And yeah, definitely, I think with, it's like you said, maybe for, those 9 people that, or 10 people that don't answer, there's someone that is going to be there to always listen. And everyone's on their different stage with their journey. So it's such an important initiative. And so people know, and, these across, I mean, Europe, the UK in general. So across Europe and yeah, in general, for people to feel like, look, we've got this space and we can come to, it's great. And I think it's going to be fantastic for you having these opportunities, to go to Vienna and
Yeah,
to get to speak there. So, yeah, it's
yeah,
like a big moment in your life. So, a huge
yeah.
congrats for that. And
Thank
yeah,
you. Yeah,
and
it's time for shining.
yes,
So,
definitely. So,
Connor, thank you very much.
yeah,
Yeah,
so thanks so much for coming on the podcast today and
yeah,
joining me. And yeah, it was really great to hear your story. And I'm sorry for obviously the things along the way that have happened, but they
oh,
shape
okay.
us. And it's good to see that you're in such an amazing space. And yeah, I think for everyone, doing some brief work and releasing
Yeah.
however it is in your body, um, tension and things that have built up is very important. And so, yeah, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on today and joining me,
Yeah,
and to my listeners as well. So I will be back next week, hopefully with more of a voice. And because this week I've had, yeah, as you know, a lack of a voice, but it should return next week. So yeah, thank you
yeah,
so much, Magna, for coming on,
yeah,
and we will speak again soon with
yeah,
talking about the workplace and the other stuff that we were going to chat about as well. So yeah,
yeah.
s-
Thank you, Connor, and see you soon. Good luck with everything, and yeah,
yeah,
ciao.
thanks so much. So ciao, thank you.